So obviously, Xian, I spoke to him. I done a separate interview with him talking about DJ. I said, why did you land on DJ? He said, I was trying out the cast, but everyone wanted high-level DJ experience, so I just stuck with DJ. Now, if I'm not mistaken, at Red Bull Kumite, like Mr. Crimson have a good time against Mono, so he's gone back into lab and he's found some stuff. And we were talking about this before. Mr. Crimson apparently has got some anti-DJ tech he wants to show off, and what better place to do that than here at Gamers8. But I'm not gonna put Xian out of the, I'm not gonna rule him out, because he always comes to tech the right place at the right time. So I just think it's battle of the methodological minds here. So it's actually gonna be very interesting to see one aspect of it anyway.
Can't wait to see how that one goes down. I can't blame the team as well for voting that one in. It's a very intricate, unique one. It's not an obvious pick, but it has implications. Now, guys, we also have the next match coming up, which we just referenced. Let's talk a little bit about this one. This is gonna be the kickoff match for Gamers8 Street Fighter 6 2023. I mean, what a freaking match to start off. NASA Esports with Latif representing his home country of Saudi Arabia, the most prominent fighting game player to ever come from the region, up against arguably the world's #1 Street Fighter 6 player right now in Mena RD.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, you can hope to kick off the show with a more of an incredible match. Latif, of course, maybe a bit more prevalent in other games, been dabbling around the board, but we know how capable he is when it comes to Street Fighter. Making that EVO Grand Finals with that C Viper a number of years ago in Street Fighter 4. But now, it's a different game. Latif is that guy that can break these games down to a science, and as we've seen in several titles over the years. So I have no doubt that he's going to have done his homework for Mena, because there's enough. Listen, Mena's in the spotlight non-stop. He's been winning. He won CEO. He won't get on your level. Evo Grand Finals. There's enough to do your research. Well, and Latif's a guy that definitely can do his research.
I mean, there's watching and studying, and then there's actually putting yourself in the pilot seat and doing it yourself. One of my biggest worries here for Latif is his Blanka knowledge as a whole. I think if I was Mena, I'd go with the Blanka pick, because I think Latif, if you go with a more fundamental character, I think he can go toe-to-toe and compete with your fundamentals. So it's going to see how is he going to deal with, EX Air Blanka Ball? How is he going to deal with, level 2 from Blanka? What is he going to do against Blanka-chan, the Blanka dolls? It's it's going to be a real test of his Blanka knowledge. And then, of course, I like these two because I think it's battle of aggression in two different ways. I like how exuberant Latif is as a person, but I see that in Mena's gameplay. So there's going to be definitely a good psychological warfare.
I think if it's Latif, you're also a tad bit unlucky to have come back after so long, really mastered Guilty Gear and had a good run in that. Come back to Street Fighter, biggest Street Fighter event ever in terms of prize pool money and magnitude, and you're up against arguably the best player in the world. It's a bit tough, but that's the way the cookies crumbled. And if there's anyone who can adapt quickly enough, I mean, if you're just talking raw talent, Latif's got to be up there with the best in the world. So
incredible.
He's the same caliber as Mena himself, so anything can happen. And he's had the players here the last few days to study this matchup.
True, very true.
Yeah, you've also got to think about, the home turf advantage. Mena's he's just travelled from Evo.
Yalla, Habibi.
All the way over, but Latif, that's the home turf advantage. This is, he's going to feel comfortable out here, so.
Okay. Well, there's a few other matches to be looking out for, guys, as the day continues. But that's the one we're going to kick off with. I don't know if you guys got any predictions for that match. Do we see Latif pulling off the magic?
I think as far as I can go, just out of statistics alone, I can see him forcing Mena to change character. That's about it. Otherwise, I think there's a lot of expectancy on Mena to win this one. It's no disrespect to Latif, but it's just because of how good and the momentum that Mena has right now, especially like Tyrant said, coming from Evo, because the players that travel from Evo to here, they're playing off momentum now. That's what the main thing is. And because it's there with him, I think it might be a difficult thing to overcome for Latif.
And Tyrant, who are you calling for?
For this match?
Just a quick answer.
I'm going to say Mena.
Okay,
he's looking too good.
The logical answer. We'll see if Latif can pull off the upset. And also, the match to watch that was voted by the team here is, of course, let's take a close look at that one. We spoke a bit briefly about it, but let's go into a bit more detail into this one. You mentioned Xian and how he's going to be performing with DJ and, of course, Mr. Crimson. So let's take a look a bit more of this matchup that's going to come up. This is the match to watch of all the games we have here today, guys. Oh, my bad. We're just going to talk about the matchup. Okay, so
fair.
Regarding that matchup, my friend.
Gotcha.
Apologies. Tricked you guys. No, regarding that matchup, we have Mr. Crimson up against Xian. Now, Xian and Hot Dog, I had the pleasure of speaking to those guys after Evo, which was very surprising to see a character that a lot of people have ranked as #1.
Okay.
Not even in the top 26, not even in contention for top 26. I mean, Fudo was the closest, but even he whipped out the Dal Sim on many occasions in his run. So now I think this is top character privilege, personally, Hot Dog. I'm not sure I'm agreeing with you, but Hot Dog actually said to me he feels like the ceiling for the character is not as high as people think. And he's actually thinking of changing characters. He's not sure DJ is as strong as people are saying. I'm not sure I agree with that, but is that a narrative that you've heard from other DJ players? What do you think of that statement?
I've heard 1 or 2 players say there's a time limit on DJ, but I mean, with how explosive the damage output is in this game, I think you've always got a fighting chance. As long as you've got drive gauge, you can always compete with that as well.
Yeah.
I think maybe over time, I don't see him dropping below a top 10 character if the game remains the same. If there's substantial changes, different story, but
like I don't see how he can be bad. Like he's just such a solid overall character. He's got some of the highest damage in the game. Very solid fundamentals. He's got amazing, he's got plus frames. He's got good pressure, good long range tools. Like character's ridiculous, honestly. Like I think he's a solid pick for top 5.
Yeah, I think top 5. Personally, I think top 5. But I guess if you're hot dog and you're thinking maybe top 5 isn't enough, I don't know. There could be a number of reasons why.
There's one of the things for me in DJ's matchups is a projectile. Obviously, the number one thing that people complain about with DJ is his drive rush. If you pop out a fireball, which Dalsim has, 3 different versions, it stops the drive rush. Then you got to think about it differently. Then you got to tackle the limbs. Can you jump over them? Dalsim's got very good anti-airs from a far-reaching range, and he gets decent damage off his anti-airs as well. So I'm like, okay, once the fireball comes out, then you start to see a little bit of the challenges that DJ has to circumvent. But other than that, I still think he's always in the dogfight. That's just me, though.
Wow, guys, we are heading to the main stage, guys. Counting down now, very excited. It's the beginning of Street Fighter 6 at Gamers8 2023. It's one hell of a tournament for the ages. And we're just 5 seconds away. Count with me. 3, 2, 1. Let's go!
The sun is blazing, the moon is shining. In a land of heroes, where the stars are rising. Nobody can stop me, I walk through the fire right here for fame. Who will us the gusts of the storms in the desert? This is not a game. We fight for glory. My night. With every win we ascend new heights. I'm sharpening my skills and I focus my mind. The power nice in the heart of a lion. A battle with pride is a matter of time. I become the most greatest, the victory's mine. We reach for the cup, and the tension is up. In the city of Riyadh, everybody's getting hot. It's not about luck. It's up on the skills that we got in the national scores from all over the globe. Are you ready to show off and blow up the spot?
Welcome to an absolute extravaganza. This is Gamers8! First off, thank you to Ryan Hart, a 4-time DreamHack champion, Guinness World Record holder, for presenting our trophy. But Atik, what we have in front of us today is a $1 million tournament right here in the heart of Saudi Arabia. It is going to be a movie, and I cannot wait to get into these games.
Well, exactly. We're going to see an amazing matches. Like we have 23 or 32 players coming from all over the world. They're going to compete in this tournament. We're going to see an amazing game. أعزائي المشاهدين، أعزائنا الحضور، حياكم الله معنا في بطولة جيمرز 8 للعبة ستريت فايتر اللي راح نشوف فيها أبطال هذه النسخة واللي راح نشوف فيها منافسات غير طبيعية. جو معنا 32 لاعب راح يتنافسون على هذا اللقب. معنا من أقوى اللاعبين واللي راح نستمتع بهذه الرحلة ومجموع الجوائز $1,000,000. راح نشوف شيء غير طبيعي.
I'm telling you something, Atik. I could do that too, but I ain't trying to steal your thunder. You know what I'm saying? I could quite possibly do that. But what I do want to make sure that I want make sure everyone knows is the fact that Street Fighter 6 only recently dropped, and we are seeing a new golden era in the age of the fighting game community. We seeing $2 million prize pools for Capcom Cup. We're seeing all of the bread on the line for Gamers 8. It is absolutely ridiculous. We just saw what happened at EVO with Angry Bird, our new EVO champion, and of course, he is here in this competition as well. I cannot believe what is happening right now, but ladies and gentlemen, I think it may be time for our first match.
So let's see who's gonna be the first player to introduce here on the stage.
First and foremost, we have someone fighting out of the Dominican Republic. Let's see who this player is. It's Mina RD! Mina RD, the one and only 2-time Capcom Cup champion. Mina, please make your way to your station. It is time for the bull himself to make his entrance. Mina RD, you can't come down now. We get your aura. We see, we understand, we feel the energy. This player, again, is the only 2-time Capcom Cup champion, and we just saw him in EVO Grand Finals. Easily one of the favorites to take this entire tournament, and he is representing that Dominican Republic proudly.
Well, he made it to the EVO Grand Final, and he want to make it to the Grand Final here in Gamers 8. We're going to see what he's going to do in this tournament. أعزائي المشاهدين، معنا اللاعب أمينة اللي حقق المركز الثاني في بطولة إيفو اللي كانت معنا في الأسابيع الماضية. حقق إنجاز عظيم ووصل معنا إلى النهائيات، لكن ما حالف الحظ في النهائيات هناك يبغى ياخذ اللقب في أكبر البطولات هنا برضو معنا، لكن في نفس الوقت عنده خصمة جاية يبغى ينافس في هذه اللعبة في أرضه وبين جمهوره. خلونا نتعرف على اللاعب الثاني.
Mina RD is looking absolutely serious right now.
أعطونا تحية للاعب لطيف. لطيف شرفنا ونورنا برضه هنا على المسرح. حرفيا اللاعب لاعب كبير معروف العاب الفايتنج، يحقق انجازات وحتى برضه بطولات في العاب الفايتنج بشكل عام، لكن حتى برضه يبغى يضيف لعبه زياده لتاريخه، يبغى يضيف بطولات زياده في لعبه توها نازله معنا اللي هي لعبه ستريت فايتر. يبغى يتنافس ضد اقوى اللاعبين واللي راح نشوف كيف راح يكون.
Latif, of course, is the home country hero from right here in Saudi Arabia. The crowd is hyped. They are behind him right now, and with good reason. This matchup is absolutely insane. Only here in Gamers 8 do you get these types of matchups. Latif already has an insane pedigree when it comes to the history of Street Fighter, and he is recently making his comeback and looking absolutely insane, but it's not going to be any easy task against Mina RD. Ladies and gentlemen, can we make some noise for our first matchup, Mina RD versus Latif? Players, You can take your seats. Ladies, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm feeling the energy. The tension is kind of crazy right now with Teak. I ain't gonna lie.
We're still on the first day. This is the first match. We still have like more days and more matches. This is going to be amazing. أعزائي المشاهدين عندنا في هذه اللحظة راح نبدأ فيها أول مباراة لهذه البطولة اللي راح تكون غير طبيعية. عندنا حتى برضو عندنا اللاعب أمينة أرضي ضد اللاعب لطيف اللي راح تكون مباراة تاريخية. خلونا على طول نبدأها.
Teak, I think that we have done enough. This match is about to be insane, and we're about to head over to our casters right now.
فأعزائي المشاهدين خلونا نبدأ المباراة على طول ونروح على طول مع المعلقين.
Ooh, boy, I feel the electricity in the air, baby. Welcome to Gamers8, months-long celebration of all things competitive gaming. And yes, the Street Fighter 6 leg of the tournament has begun. Myself, Ringe, along with Vicious on the comms. How you doing, fam?
You already know what it is. When it comes to this crowd, it's absolutely electric. But when it comes to these players, it's going to be absolutely legendary here at Gamers8. I am looking forward to everything that's going to be going down between not just these players, not just Block A, but for the rest of the tournament. And you guys as well will be ecstatic as we go along hour after hour, play by play. You already know it's gonna be big game day today.
We got 4 long days of Street Fighter, baby. If you're looking for that action, you are tuned in to the right place. And of course, both of these players, I mean, their reputations speak for themselves, but I love the way they made their entrances, bro. Mena RD was looking like a real bull, like exhaling the steam from his nose right there to get it popping, bro. And we heard him talk about, right, he was like, bro, Evo was just prepped for this tournament. So I can't wait to see what he brings to the table now.
Man, it's a different kind of hunger when you're a champ, right? When you are 2-time Capcom Cup champ and also champion at CEO Gaming and just falling just a little bit short, you know it stings a lot extra when it comes to that. But we also have someone like Latif who's been on the main stage numerous times, master of multiple games. Yep. This is where we get to see some real champions collide, and I'm really excited about it. I did have a little heart-to-heart with Latif.
Okay.
Right? Him coming from the States for a good amount of time. Obviously, he's the hometown hero. Yeah. Been in Saudi Arabia, from Saudi Arabia, but I gotta say, man, when he spent his time in Arizona, he was definitely powering up all the warriors out there. So I did get to talk to him. Okay. He was a little bit worried. His main objective is figuring out how to stop the big Blanca from Mena RD.
Man, yeah, the Blanca from Mena has been a complete problem, right? We've seen the Blanca and the Luke, but of course, I believe it was the Blanca that took down Punk's Cammy at Evo, at CEO, so I want to see what he brings to the table now. I'm assuming it's going to be the Blanca, and I think that character is a huge problem, you know what I mean? Especially for, I think, maybe someone that's not entrenched in Street Fighter 6 as much as Latif is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's got to focus on other games. Obviously, he was really trying hard in Guilty Gear at Evo as well, so he's going to have a lot of knowledge checks that he's going to need to know about. And just in general, I think Blanca's buttons are a big problem, man. Lots of active frames on him, great range. It's not going to be like super easy for Cammy to get into the range where she feels effective.
Right, and we've talked about this even off stream plenty of times over. When we're really assessing the matchup, I think Blanca, I think you had phrased this quite eloquently, he is quite the counter poker in regards to like those activity frames. And so looking at the kind of approach that Cammy can kind of take in majority of the matchups she plays, she has an excellent ground approach. She also has a really annoying air approach. Blanca being able to cover both of those pretty consistently is what's really going to draw the problem out for Latif.
And a big thing about Blanca that is pretty much universally applied to the different matchups, right, is that when he is cornered, the air Blanca ball, bro, the OD dive ball, as I like to call it, I mean, it is an absurd tool for Blanca to have. Obviously, it's going to beat your throw attempts if you're trying to commit to those early, but even if you're sitting there and block it, it is plus on block, so it's still Blanca's turn. So really, you got to be preemptive about stuffing it. We saw Punk experiment with the crouch fierce, right? The crouch heavy punch from Cammy in the corner, because it has that upward angle on the hitbox. It could catch the jumps from Mena, but we're going to get it locked in, baby. I want to see it, Latif. Going with that Cammy, the intel is correct, and you already know Mena bringing the king of the jungle to the table.
And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the very first game of Gamers8 is going to be Mena RD versus Latif. This is the round robin. This is Group A, and it is indeed match 1. We're about to bring that fire. Let me see some of those smiles. There we go. I knew he was going to go for it first.
Yeah, 100%, man. Man, just hearing you say this is the first match of Gamers8, oh, man, the electricity truly flowing, and it's not even from Blanca. Let's see what we're gonna. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
That's early.
That's early. But we already got a Mena RD. You can see making his way in. He's gonna establish throws early. Hopefully catch Latif teching later on. And the spin knuckle, the first one gets jumped back and punished severely.
I can't imagine Latif going for that relatively early. I feel like Men.RD wasn't really stuck on the ground game at all, but a big throw bait already. You could be dead here if you wanted to spend the level 1.
Not even
quite.
gonna do it.
I don't know about all that.
Blanca ball at the end. Yeah, it didn't really look like it was effective, but the level 1 will surely be so.
Hey, it was a tough hill to climb for Latif, and it still managed to get out a bar from Men.RD. So like that's a little victory as well going into it.
Oh my goodness.
The up ball.
Mena is like so good at reversals, bro. Like especially when it comes to higher stakes matches. I feel like the higher the stakes, the more often he actually wakes up with these invincible reversals. But right there, immediately exposing the parry. Latif is on life support in terms of drive gauge.
To get the forward throw, but what happens afterwards? You guys, the big counter, the big buttons actually coming in from Latif. The roundhouse right after. Here comes Mini Blanca. Man, that was so smart for Latif to just kind of go for it. Men.RD got stuck.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, and I like this. Okay, experimenting with stuffing the rainbow ball with a jump back air-to-air button. You see both of them definitely catching on to each other's rhythm right now. We'll take it to the skies at the same time.
And I do like the fact that you were talking about the big rhythm, right? Oh boy, level 2. You're about to feel the rhythm of the ball. Blanca. Damn! Punish counter. He was studying that, baby.
That was so sick right there. Yeah, it looked like Mena. That was like the parry bait, right? Where he goes directly down with the lightning ball. Yeah, and we already saw Latif do a parry, so it was a good decision.
Oh
Latif
my
with
God.
the reactions now. Oh, but Mena won't stop. Very
It's been so clutch and a little bit, yeah, it's kind of reluctant to kind of move forward. Latif's trying to find a big opening, and no, there it is. Men.RD getting the punish, overextending Latif. He's got to be feeling that one.
Yeah, you could tell Latif, he was smiling a little bit after that one because, like, he caught on to a couple of Men.RD's options with the DP, right? And he knows he was very close. He got fooled into the animations right there from the Blanca. But yeah, man, he's not looking bad at all.
Not one bit. He did have a solid read. Like, most of the players kind of falter when it comes to, like, level 2 super art from Blanca. They kind of freak out and try to figure out how to even, like, defend against it. But going into game 2, man, Latif, I don't know what these cannon spikes are, Ringe.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that was definitely a little flub on his part, but right now, Men.RD immediately drive impact, exposing him at the wall. Try to burn him out with that level 1 super, got close to it, but we'll finish the job nonetheless.
Looking real quick, Men.RD already looking at match point.
Oh yeah, we are in the 2 out of 3 territory. You gotta earn that 3 out of 5 here at Gamers8. Yeah, that's plus frames all day. I believe -3 on the regular lightning.
That is correct, yeah. And Latif also ready for the air ball, excuse me, the OD version. As good, as good as it is on block, you can still kind of prepare yourself by walking backwards forward. And Cammy does have a very impressive walk speed.
Yeah, you can tell Mena, he's starting to catch on to how often Latif is busting out, but instead, exposing that drive meter, drains the last of it, and then stuns him up at the same time. Oh my goodness, you're going for a ride. That is almost death. 1 bar to his name as well. Anti-air won't get the job done when it trades, baby. Men.RD 2-0 to start Gamers8.
That is a very confident 2-0 from the current Capcom Cup champ, Men.RD, knowing full well what to do against the Cammy matchup. We did see shades of the improvement from the matchup at hand from the side of Latif from round 1 into round 2, only in game 1, right? But as soon as Men.RD had kind of figured out what he needed to do, it was lights out.
100%, man. Mena, I mean, he is a calculated assassin in this game, right? And the way he kind of makes players play uncomfortably, right? If you watch the documentary from Reversal that followed him during, I believe, CEO, he talks about that. He's like, that is my play style. I am looking to make you uncomfortable. And he is so good at it. And Blanca, in general, is a perfect character for that strategy.
I don't want to be anywhere near Blanca.
No.
Anytime
never.
I see a Blanca, I'm already shaking in my boots. Like, the character itself makes you uncomfortable. Like, taking a look at the replays, you can kind of see it.
Mena RD is simply built different. You do not get to the point that he's gotten to without going through adversity, without having a calculated strategy, and that is exactly what we just saw right there. That Blanca is looking insane right now, Atik.
Well, I felt the energy from him. Honestly, like what I saw the gameplay, he really wants the trophy, and we're gonna see an amazing games next because we have more matches yet to come. لكن برضو أعزائنا المشاهدين هذه مباراتنا الأولى اللي انتهت قبل شوي بفوز من أرضي. كان مستواه ساحق في هالمباراة، ورانا المستوى شلون راح يكون معنا في هذه البطولة، لأنه من جد يبغى ياخذ الكأس هذا اللقب. لكن برضو مبارياتنا الجاية برضو لا تقل أهمية. خلونا برضو نشوف ومن المعنى في المباريات اللي بعدها.
Mena RD is going to absolute force in this tournament. He is not going to be easy to stop, and he has to be one of the favorites. I've heard some rumblings. I'm interested to see what the Twitch chat thinks about it. Is it possible that we get an EVO Grand Finals run back? Might we see Angry Bird versus Mena RD yet again in Grands? I'm going to put you on the spot right now. Who is your favorite to win this overall event, if you're willing to say?
Well, if I have to say, I'm obviously biased for it because I support like my locals here.
Okay. So you're going Latif?
Latif and Wes.
Okay. Latif and West, that's understandable. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with any bias at all whatsoever, at least when you host them with Big Hollywood Raw TV. Me personally, I gotta say, maybe Mena, I would say Mena, and of course Angry Bird, and we cannot forget about my guy Big Bird either. Punk went extremely far in EVO without even losing a game until I want to say winners finals, ended up finishing in 3rd place. But I tell you what, man, this tournament, $1 million, look at this production value. I can't believe it. Saudi Arabia is such a ridiculous place. I can't believe how amazing it's been out here so far, and I can't wait to get into our next matches too. We got some crazy stuff coming up for the people.
And we're happy to have you also here with us in this huge event. أعزائي المشاهدين، ما زالت عندنا الفرصة الحين حتى برضو نشوف باقي المباريات كيف راح تكون معنا، اللي راح نستمتع فيها. زي ما قلنا لكم شفنا المباراة الأولى بس، لكن باقينا مباراة واحدة ورا الثانية اليوم كله، ما راح ينتهي إلا احنا مستمتعين بإذن الله واحنا نشوف أقوى اللاعبين.
And the players, honestly, that we have here, I would say Shin, of course, coming all the way from Singapore. I would say we have to look out for Zen from over in China. Zen, absolutely ridiculous. We have players from all around the world. I would say that recently there's been an absolute brand new approach when it comes to the world of Street Fighter with the World Warrior program, with Capcom Cup having online qualifiers. We are seeing everywhere represented, and all of a sudden, these fighting game players and us talent, we're becoming jet setters out here. But for that much money on the line, $1 million, first place, 400,000. What would you do if you won that type of bread? I just gotta know.
I'm gonna buy a house, dude. You can buy a house.
That's ridiculous. Straight winning a Street Fighter tournament, and that's actually a possibility. This and Capcom Cup on the line, unbelievable year that we are having up to this point. So I have to ask you your sleeper pick as well. As far as a sleeper pick, I would have to go with none other than my man Zen. My man Zen is ridiculous. He had the greatest Capcom Cup run of all time from that loser side, having to fight his way all the way to grand finals from the last chance qualifier. So I can't wait for his match. But as far as your sleeper pick, who are you thinking?
Well, honestly, there are different players that I can see their potential also to have it this year. And I see maybe Mr. Crimson.
Mr. Crimson, of course, he actually won the first ever Street Fighter V major event, and then eventually he had a little bit of a dip and then fought back, showed that resiliency. Just as amazing as his scene is, he was at the head of it. Him even eventually, I would say respectfully, surpassing one of our other players, at least for the time being, EVO champion, Luffy himself, and ended up becoming arguably the best player in the world at the end, near the end of Street Fighter V. At least for one time, Red Bull, Kumite, and all that, my man was absolutely cooking, absolutely destroying things. So, what can you tell us about the local gaming community right here in Saudi Arabia?
Well, you can see them here in the crowds, and
it's
you can,
ridiculous. It's
everybody is actually watching it also in home. Like not everybody is here as well, like, but they're coming, and I know that they want to be here with us. أعزائي المشاهدين، أنا متأكد أن صحيح اللحظة هذه في هذه البطولة الحين عندنا مشاهدين من كل أنحاء العالم، لكن حتى برضو وجودكم هنا دعمكم، وإن شاء الله حتى برضو استمتاعكم في هذه البطولة. وزي ما قلنا لكم فيها قبل شوي أن راح نشوف باقي المباريات وما نطول عليكم أكثر. أتوقع اللاعبين جاهزين الحين وراح نبدأ نرحب فيهم.
All right, so I know everybody at home been waiting. Well, it is finally time. Our players are ready. First off, fighting from the United States of America, we have our first player. Make some noise for Nephew! This player has a special nickname. If you hear these sounds, that means that the Dark Lord himself, Dark Nephew, is on his way. Nephew, make your way down here to your setup. It is time for us to see exactly why he has that name. Not everyone can go toe-to-toe with the Sith Lord. It is not going to be easy whatsoever for his opponent. We've seen him put in work in Street Fighter League. We've seen him put in work in CPTs all across the globe. And now he has finally made his way to the beautiful country of Saudi Arabia, and he is trying to fight for his piece of that $1 million prize pool.
And he's not far from it. He's already here to compete. أعزائي المشاهدين، معنا المتسابق الثاني أو بصح اللاعب الثاني نيفيو اللي جاينا من الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية ينافس على هذا اللقب، وحاب أقول لكم أنه شارك في 7 بطولات للعبة ستريت فايتر وهي تو نازلة، يعني من جد قدر يحقق إنجازات كبيرة في اللعبة ويحرقها حتى برضو بشكل جدا كبير، وبرضو متخصص في شخصيات كثيرة. لكن برضو عندنا المتنافس الثاني جاينا من سنغافورة، خلونا نتعرف عليه على المسرح. أعطونا تحية للاعب شيان. لاعب شيان قدر يحقق انجازات برضو في اللعبه وهي توها نازله، قدر ياخذ 4 ألقاب في اللعبه وهي صار لها شهرين حرفيا، فمن جد اللاعب يبغى يضيف ريكوردز زياده، يبغى يضيف انجازات اكبر، جانا من مكان بعيد، نافس في بطولات عالميه، تاريخها عريق في هذه اللعبه ويبغى برضو يضيف اشياء اكثر لها، راح نشوف شيء غير طبيعي.
This is an Evo champion that you are seeing here. Shin, you can come over here, right here in front of your setup. This is an Evo champion, arguably the highest honor that you can get in the world of fighting games. This was back in Street Fighter 4. My man's using Gin, one of the hardest characters to use at the time, and his accolades since then have continued to pile on top of each other, one after the other. We are in the presence of fighting game greatness. We have Shin from Singapore fighting up against Nephew. One more time, can we make some noise for our second match? You guys can take your seats. And now we are about to get into the action. Let's send it right back over to the casters.
أعزائنا المشاهدين، بعد ما رحبنا وتعرفنا على اللاعبين، خلينا نبدأ مباراتنا على طول. المباراة الثانية لليوم على طول، خلينا ننتقل مع المعلقين.
You already know what it is. We're back at it again, Ringe and myself, Vicious, to talk about these two players, Nephew versus Xian. You know, we've talked about quite the accolades that Xian has had over the course of years when it comes to Street Fighter. Had me looking up his history as well. He had first place at a recent Invitational not too long ago against ZJZ. Also taking down first at ICFC, one of the most stacked brackets at a weekly event. Then Nephew, on the other hand, he's been doing quite the amount of traveling himself too. 3rd over at Impact Protocol, 2nd over at CEO. Then even before that, had his significant practice getting first at ICFC NA. This is going to be a matchup that I've been looking forward to personally because this is not only the kind of runbacks that we've seen over at Street Fighter League, but this is a brand new game, right? So it's going to be a different atmosphere with Jury going up against DJ.
First and foremost, I'm just glad Nephew made it to the stage. I thought we had like a WWE backstage attack on our hands for a second there when he wasn't showing up, but we're all good. He's here, and I'm very much looking forward to this as well because we got 2 of the best players on, in my opinion, 2 of the best characters in the game. Jury and DJ are ground game monsters, right? One having the fastest drive rush in the game, the other having the longest drive rush in the game.
Yes, sir.
Right? DJ having the fastest, Jury having the longest. So I want to see if it turns into a battle of drive rushes early, and just in general, the kind of meta around drive rush is very interesting to me right now, right? When the game first launched, a lot of people were just letting it rock, abusing it, kind of even letting it rock deeper to get people throw tagging. But now we saw as Angry Bird, I mean, my man Angry Bird, drive rush jabbed his way to an Evo championship,
he sure did.
Right? So I think we're definitely going to see that type of meta on display here between 2 excellent players.
I'm not gonna lie, on a personal level, I have not seen Nephew at all this trip. I've seen Sien a handful of times. I think I saw Nephew kind of like show up behind me randomly, and I swear I heard the exact same thing that Rob TV did. I turned around, I'm like, oh damn, Nephew, I didn't even know you were here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, on some scary movie stuff. But in all honesty, I think, you know, we've talked about both of these characters very early on. I feel like they were hovering around like the top 5 conversations so consistently.
Absolutely.
And I gotta be honest with you, I don't know if that's gonna be like the same case. I think Jury may be a little bit like at the border of top 5. Not to say she isn't good. I think she sticks on people so consistently and such a problem to get off. But I think it's hard to tell genuinely now. And you know, a lot of the Japanese players thought DJ of the same caliber, right? Being within top 5, and they kind of just wrote him off as like, that's it. That's the player. That's the character. I mean, and he's gonna be that good the entire time, but it hasn't really been the case, especially at the most recent event at EVO, right?
Yeah, it definitely feels like both of those characters' stocks have kind of dropped a little bit. They were so high on everybody's list early on, and for good reason, like we talked about, right? As everybody was getting used to the system mechanics, these two make the best use of Drive Rush, arguably, in the game. So because of that, I think a lot of people were having trouble dealing with them early, but now, since people have settled in, figured out the matchups a little bit, figured out their own character strats, talked about the counter punching before with Blanca, that's a lot of what you have to do in this game. Find your big active buttons and put them out as people try to drive rush you, but that's where the drive rush lights come in. You can get the baits going as well for certain characters having those options, or just cutting the drive rush short with a throw or a jab or something like that. So yeah, man, I want to see how these two go about it. I think Xian in general is one of the best hit and run style players in Street Fighter history, and I think DJ, both of these characters honestly excel at that, but DJ in this game with his strong fireball game even more so, in my opinion.
And I was waiting for the first strike here again. Game 1 between these two. Xian already off to a very eager start. What a stop against the Just Cool. The challenge from Nephew into the low forward. The backdash from Xian already. We're getting the big reach. +2 scenario. You have to hold this.
Oh, we're going to keep being plus. And then Nephew trying to pop off with the drive impact. Xian was chilling, and then now you don't have any resources. No meter, no drive impact. You're at my beck and call, baby. Xian, first round.
Jesus, these guys are exploding onto the scene. Already leaving a trail of bodies, or at least, you know, at least 1 round's worth.
Oh,
man, you literally just prefaced it with the whole double drive rush forward. Who's gonna strike first? Man, it's like your mind reader.
That's beautiful, baby. The battle of the drive rushes, indeed. And we talked about it. Jury's longest, but DJ's the fastest, and he's the one that beat her to the punch that time.
It's the bullet train that takes you from Tokyo to Osaka. That's exactly how M. Bison would say it in the movie. Now, are we gonna see death right now? Oh, without a doubt. Didn't even need the level 3.
First round was 24 seconds, and second round was 21 seconds. You know, these two characters are trying to get in each other's faces immediately, and that's what we're seeing here.
I feel like the technician behind him was like, hey, can you slow it down just a little bit? I don't know if you've noticed, but we had a little bit of a break in between. You know, we got to run the clock a little bit.
Yeah, he's like, we got a schedule to keep, brother.
Yeah, man, what are you doing out here? That's 1 game already on the side of Xian, and that's just how it goes, man.
Yeah, man, I mean, Xian is explosive in this game. I think he felt his performance at EVO might have been a little lackluster too, so when something like that happens, right, you're even extra motivated, and you really want to put bodies in bags early.
Again!
Oh, man. And this time, Xian, he did actually go with, I believe, the crouch medium punch. Last time he left Nephew standing, so now switching it up with a throw, you can see.
1, 2, 3.
So perfect. Oh, the frame kill set up. Oh!
I'm done. There's nothing to commentate. There's nothing left to commentate, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Xian
Give him the rush.
Nephew, he had 1 meter. He had drive meter to pop off at that point, but the backdash on that just blew his mind. My man's was shook in the corner.
This man is reading the room right. There's the jump in, Nephew. There you go. You're playing like a man. You face your fears. Oh, and we got the throw bait as well. Watch out for the pressure, forward throw. What are you gonna do about it, Nephew? Does he have the adjustments made?
Yeah, he might. Oh, Xian though, immediately after that. That was a plus frame button from Jury too, but Xian not scared whatsoever. Yeah, but then throwing out the fireballs. I love this. Trying to slowly make his way back into this game. Safely but surely, Nephew getting to that throw range again and making it work. Oh, driver versus, he's gonna burn himself out. Oh, and then baits out the
wait a minute.
Okay, Nephew, he's the one that's starting to have the reads now after Xian was having real estate in his brain.
He's got the Vegeta mentality. The more you beat me up, the stronger I get, right?
Yeah.
Now it's Satsui no Nephew.
The Sith Lord, as Raw put it.
What?
All right, you got me good with that one. Oh, popping off. I love that right after the drive rush. Normal, obviously, blood plus frames. But when you see DJ camping like that on the down back, the up kicks are not far behind.
Yeah, you got to get ready for that charge, right? You kind of treat it as if you were playing against Guile, just the more active one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the drive rush forward off with the jab, still getting the tick throw. Missed the plus frame opportunity of Cien going with forward and medium kick. Maybe it was an advanced level frame kill.
Oh, my. Nah, that seemed like a Bob Ross setup to me. That was a happy little accident. My man's whipped it and then immediately caught Nephew counter poking. You could be right. Cien is a scientist, and that could have been a frame kill. But whatever have you, that's a dub in his book and for the set.
I'm going to need to talk to Mike Ross after this and confirm whether or not it's actually a frame kill or not. But either way, that was indeed a quick match from Cien.
Indeed, indeed. So we're going to take a look at the highlights of that one. Explosive match. Cien already on the board early. That was beautiful.
Never thought that I would see the day that a player would make the Dark Lord, Dark Neth, see the light. That was kind of free. I'm not gonna lie to you. My man Cien was looking ridiculous, but it is only the first match. I guarantee you my man's nephew is going to be coming back stronger, but Cien is showing his pedigree right now. That DJ is looking phenomenal.
Well, they still have the chance because it's still like the group stage now. لكن برضو أعزائنا المشاهدين بعد ما شفنا المباراة الأولى قد إيش كانت خرافية. فعلا شفنا عشان قدر يتفوق فيها بشكل جدا كبير. لكن باقي عندنا المباريات الجاية راح نمشي واحدة ورا الثانية بدون ما نوقف. عندنا باقي المباراة اللي بعدها اللي راح نتعرف عليها الآن.
The nice thing about this tournament, of course, in the group stages is that it is double elimination. I mean, it's double round robin. So everyone plays everyone 2 times, not even just one. And speaking of one, this next player that we have coming up at some point has been considered the #1 player in the world. We're about to see exactly who this is. I am proud to announce Punk the God. This player, I have to say, has what I would personally consider the best neutral game of all time. In the history of Street Fighter, I have not seen anyone play the neutral game quite like him. In 2017, around that time, we saw one of the best runs that we have ever seen in the history of fighting games, winning tournaments back to back to back. And even though that's history at this point, we seeing what he is doing in the brand new game, just now making it all the way to winners finals of a tournament, Evo, 7,000-man bracket, without losing a single game. He was so close to the glory that he deserves with his skill, and now he has the chance to take it all the way home. Punk the God, absolute animal.
Wow, he's a legend and he's here to compete in this tournament again. We're gonna see this amazing performance here in this tournament. لكن برضو أعزائنا المشاهدين بعد ما شفنا بانك هنا وبرضو رحبنا فيه على المسرح، حاب أقول لكم أن اللاعب هذا أسطورة حرفيا. شارك في أكثر أو بالأصح محترف من أكثر من 10 ألعاب، الألعاب الفايتنج، وفي نفس الوقت تو اللعبة نازلة ستريت فايتر 6 بعد ما نزلت شارك في 12 بطولة حقق منها 7، يعني من جد اللاعب ما خلى شيء. وفي نفس الوقت في مباريات اللي كانت معنا في إيفو ما خسر أي مباراة المباراة إلى نوصل معنا في النهائيات، ومن بعدها أخذ المركز الثالث. لاعب أسطورة معنا، لكن برضو منافسة اللي معنا اللي راح نرحب فيه برضو على المسرح لاعب يافع، لاعب صغير بالسن. هذا وقت صعوده، خلونا نتعرف عليه ونرحب فيه على المسرح. أعطونا تحية للاعب زين. مشاركاته جديدة وحضوره برضو قوي معنا، لاعب الصاعد بما تعنيه الكلمة، خصوصا انه حقق برضو انجازات قبل لا يوصل المرحلة الحالية. هذا اللاعب اللي تخاف منه، هذا اللاعب اللي راح تتوقع الكثير منه، حرفيا جالس يطلع السلالم ويحقق انجازات كبيرة، وممكن حتى برضو ينافس على اللقب في هذه البطولة. راح نشوف برضو منه مستوى أسطوري في البطولة الحالية.
I need to see maximum respect on this young man's name. Do not let that baby face fool you. Some people were mistaken when they competed against him in Capcom Cup in that last chance qualifier, and then he showed them exactly what he is about. Mans like DCQ and VX Bao tried to warn the world at Capcom Cup what he was gonna do, and they did not listen, and he showed them who he was. Zen, probably the greatest Capcom Cup run that we have ever seen, and Punk the God, one of the best players, if not the best Street Fighter 5 player of all time. This match is going to be a war. Players, you may take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Zen versus Punk the God. And now, it is time to get into this action, Atik. Who you think we're taking this? You got Punk, you got Zen. Let me know, bro.
This is going to be difficult to predict، لكن برضو أعزائي المشاهدين صحيح المباراة الحالية بين بانك وبين زين اللي راح نشوفها مباراة راح تكون أسطورية، وفي نفس الوقت أنا أعتقد حتى برضو أن اللاعبين راح يكملون المشوار معنا حتى ممكن بعد المجموعة. صحيح مجموعتهم صعبة، لكن ممكن يطلعون منها ويوصلون معنا إلى البلاي أوفس، فممكن نشوف مباراة غير طبيعية.
We have done enough talking. It is time to see some of the best players in the world throw hands, and also we're going to throw it over to the casters.
فأعزائنا المشاهدين كلكم جاهزين، فخلونا نبدأ المباراة بدون ما نطول عليكم وننتقل مع المعلقين.
I just love the way Rob has been bouncing on stage, man. You could tell that the electricity, the atmosphere of such an amazing tournament is definitely flowing through his body. But right now, Rinja Vicious on the comms once again, bringing you another legendary match here. Punk the God obviously getting third place at CEO, and you heard Rob run down the accolades. My man got to wake up, though, to deal with Zen. That is one of the longest yawns I've ever seen. Sorry to break up my point. I was just enamored by that one. That was wild. Hopefully he's got all the yawns out and ready to play. Zen on the other end, right? We saw him at South Africa Red Bull Kumite rocking the JP, but in the wrestlings of the grapevine say that he may be playing the DJ as well.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about what the matchup's going to be like. We talked about this even in the back room with all the other commentators in the building. You know, DJ doesn't look like a bad shot, but at the same time, I think JP can really much fight his own ground against the Cammy matchup. Now, it hasn't necessarily shown that way, and a lot of people kind of talk about it on social media, but you're really taking a look at the buttons. I think overall the presence that JP has seems like it's pretty formidable against whatever Cammy needs to do on the ground game. I think there's a lot of activity that this character presents, not just from the projectiles that he has, but also from the normals, right? Standing medium kick could be a problem.
Yes.
Medium punch can also really occupy that space, even for the anti-air department. Crouching heavy punch could be a real terror against Cammy, and also even that roundhouse for some further out attempts at maybe trying to whiff punish, or at least whiff a dive kick in front of the old man. So I'm kind of curious to see how it's gonna go down. Now, both these players, right, with the accolades that they have, both are absolutely phenomenal. And I do mean this. This is the time where you really need to check each other's reactions, right? Yeah. Zen is, what, 20 years old, right? Coming in at what? Like, he's already made like 60K under his belt, to be honest with you, in regards to how he's performed in Street Fighter 5. But this is a whole different game. I know for sure he has the exact same tenacity as his opponent, Punk the God.
Absolutely, and you brought up the reactions on both sides, right? Punk, I mean, what does AJM say? He's modern without the controls. He's all classic, but the reactions, bro, are out of this world. And that's how he's always been, right? He really kind of dictated how Street Fighter 5 was played in the meta, in the high-level meta early on, because his reactions were so good that he was whiff punishing with the input delay. Like, that's this insane. Man is ridiculous. So it's wild. I do love the fact that you bring up JP's buttons, though. He's got great buttons to stuff the these drive rushes. And another thing that Cammy can do is like get the spin knuckle in right past the projectile. So if Punk tries to hard read that, again, those same buttons that you mentioned are going to be able to stuff it. And he's got interesting options. I love the stand heavy kick that you bring up to deal with maybe the dive kick or something like that. And he gets such a heavy reward if he does land that. And that's, of course, that's going to be on the JP side of things. DJ, if he does bring that character out, I think has plenty of tools as well. The up kicks are going to chase down Cammy regardless if she does a dive kick or not. I think he's got buttons that make her uncomfortable on the ground as well. I'm very interested to see what Zen goes with.
I think that's going to be the main question. It's not a matter of like who has the greater will. I just want to see what the matchup is going to be like compared to like what character. So we are going into the character select screen. We're going to take a look. Obviously, it's going to be Cammy for Punk the God. It is indeed the DJ. It has come to fruition. Damn, we're good. We were legit talking about this like what, maybe like an hour ago. I'm like, I think Zen's gonna be going for the DJ.
Yeah. When we were thinking about it on paper a little bit, it just seemed like a character that can kind of make Cammy a little bit more uncomfortable early, right? Like for JP, you gotta be super on point to get Cammy off her game. Right now, though, I think a DJ does the job that Cammy does almost just as well.
Oh, that is punishable.
That
yeah.
was unfortunate. Yeah, committing to the stand fears. A little bit too close for that one. And Zen tried to wake up with the parry. Does wake up with the OD kicks this time and finds it, but only a little bit drive meter. And that's why Punk did the spin knuckle, right? He wanted to get back in the face for
that was the uppercut. You know damn well that was an input error. Not an input error, but you know, it overlaps. That's going to be a big punish counter. Can he close it out here? He sure can. Machine gun up, taking care of the rest of the life bar.
That shaves the health off the characters that it hits, bro. It is wild to see that. But yeah, what an open up for Zen here, and then he gets the punish counter on the landing. This is a great start for him, man. Oh, and then Punk gets caught, gets the full combo off of it as well.
Was that a punish counter? I think he just got hit with the crouch medium punch afterwards.
Oh yeah, you're right. Didn't actually combo. Man's Punk was maybe just holding up, trying to get out.
Oh, just cool again. Man, the exchange from both, it's a scramble, but no, in that +2 situation, Zen actually gets to convert off of that trade so easily. Yo, the standing leg kick into the link. We gotta bring it back, man. I want to see the full shebang bang. Give me the level 3, baby. There you go.
The pose at the end. I love it.
There you go.
Man, Zen off to a roaring start here. First game, and we know how quick the rematch is in this game. These players
we gotta
already
go back.
ready.
We gotta go back.
They're
Listen,
already ready.
In the game of Street Fighter 6, the rematches are instant. There's no time.
Yeah, and I love the fact that Zen had the perfect parry ready. Ooh, the meaty slide with the drive rush behind it. Still, though, Punk confident in the trade and confident in the throw bait as well. But Zen waking up. I love this right here. Even faking the fireball out, trying to get Punk to jump, and he gets another perfect parry.
Not a tool, man. Oh.
Drive rush, no check from Punk. He does jump, but doesn't take advantage of it. There's something he'll take advantage of, though.
I think that's the first blatant mistake that Zen has made, trying to get a read off of Punk, trying to get a throw as well. But we talked about this earlier. The up kicks could be so detrimental to Cammy's airborne approach. And that's more than enough in the tank. Yo, the heavy kick Sobot, bringing Zen into match point.
This is a great position for Zen, too. 2 bars to his name as well, and then the hezzy on the drive rush caught Punk off guard.
It's so tough to call. Like, whatever normal. Damn, that was a good punish. Yo, Punk the God just outside of Sobot range.
Talked about the reactions on both of these fellas, right? Punk showed it off there. The Fierce actually gets the jump at the Sobot link. That was really cool.
The standing heavy punch caught him in air. Oh, the standing medium punch, back heavy kick as well. Just cool extension.
Oh man, this is gonna hurt Punk right here. He's gonna be on life support health-wise afterwards. Zen's gonna build up that drive meter as well, so he's got a lot of options on his table.
You gotta drive rush forward, right? You have to.
Oh!
Hey!
And there it is, 4 rounds straight if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct, sir.
Wow, Zen. What a start to this. And we saw him get off to a little bit of a slow start at South Africa Kumite for Red Bull, right? But no slowdowns here, baby. Coming out the gate.
Quite impressive, man. They were scrapping it out, though, at one point in game 1, round 2. It's absolutely impressive thus far, but I gotta watch that back. I feel like those matches were just a blur to me.
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
I tried to tell you. I tried to warn you. You probably thought he was soft. You saw him. He looked like a nice 15-year-old kid or something like that. But he is not. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing when it comes to the game of Street Fighter, and he just probably shocked the world with the way that he started off this tournament. A 2-0 domination over Punk the Guy? What was that, Atik?
What a start of this tournament. We're gonna see an amazing gameplays, especially that if this is the start, this is just the first couple of games that we had. How's it going to be the next games? برضو في نفس الوقت أعزائي المشاهدين بعد ما شفنا المباراة الأولى قد ايش قدر يتفوق فيها زن وقدر ينتصر فيها، صدم فيها من جد، صدم فيها العالم كله بالمستوى الاسطوري اللي شفناه. لكن زي ما شفنا هنا في هذه المنافسه تقدر تتوقع كل شيء، كل اللعيبه ممكن يبهرونك بالمستوى اللي يقدمونه. هذه بطوله عالميه، هنا حضور عالمي معنا، كل اللعيبه متجهزين لها من فتره طويله عشان يحضرون هنا ويحققون اللقب في هذه البطوله.
These matches moving forward definitely have a lot to live up to. And I also need to make sure I give a quick shout out to all my low-tier DJ players out there like Big Hollywood himself. We've seen 2-0 so far. I don't know how these DJ players are doing it with such a low-tier character, but they're making it happen. That being said, we need to take a look at our next competitor fighting all the way out of the land of fighting game godhood, Japan. It is time for Otani! Otani was an absolute monster when it comes to Street Fighter 5. Otani, you can come on down to your setup. Walk down here. We need to see you up close and personal, not just from a distance. We feel the aura, but we need to feel a little bit more. Come on down here. We seen what my man's did in Street Fighter 5. He was absolutely ridiculous. And of course, when you're fighting out of Japan, when you're fighting against Daigo all the time, Tokido, Mago, Fudo, and you are still able to make a name for yourself, do you know the level of talent, the level of skill required? And that is exactly what Otani has. That is how he built his name, and he is definitely a force when it comes to Street Fighter 6.
Well, this guy is coming up strong in this tournament, and we know that all Japanese, they want to take all fighting games. And Otani is not an exception for this tournament. لكن برضه في نفس الوقت مشاهدينا هنا معنا اللاعب أوتاني اللي جانا من اليابان يبغى يحقق اللقب في هذه البطولة، وفي نفس الوقت منافس شرس تاريخه عريق خصوصا في الجزء الماضي من لعبة ستريت فايتر. برضه تنقصه الأشياء كثير في هذه اللعبة، فهو جاي هنا يبغى يحقق ألقاب ويبغى يبدأ رحلته في هذه اللعبة. لكن برضه منافسه معنا شفناه ورحبنا فيه على المسرح وشفنا مستواه، وبرضه يبغى يرجع بشكل أقوى. عنده الفرصة أنه يعوض مباراة واحدة عدت بالنسبة له، لكن هذه مباراتها الثانية وأنا متأكد أداء راح يكون أفضل. راح يلعب برضه في أرضه وبين جمهوره. خلينا نرحب فيه على المسرح. أعزائنا المشاهدين أعطونا تحية للطير. لاعب كبير، حتى برضو نفسيته عالية، متأكدة أنه يبغى يرجع بشكل أقوى، خصوصا أن مباراته الأولى كانت شوي صعبة، والأمانة كان يلعب ضد المركز الثاني اللي حقق بطولة إيفو، لكن الحين برضو أنه يقدر يؤدي بشكل أفضل، وأنا متأكد مستواه ما راح يكون سهل في هذه المباراة.
Latif, of course, has an absolutely ridiculous cheering section in here right now. The whole crowd is heavily behind him, and I tell you what, I might be a little bit against Latif. I don't want to make everyone hate me, but the reason I'm against him, Atik, is because he's so buff. You know, he's making me look skinny out here. Imagine being in that much shape. I just don't understand it. My agent's gonna have to talk about this. But this match is gonna be ridiculous. Latif, Otani, you may take your seats. We have our next match ready, and now we are about to head over to our casters.
Well, don't talk about muscles. Here, I'm skinny here next to you, dude. أعزائي المشاهدين مباراتنا الحالية برضه راح تبدا، فخلينا ننتقل على طول مع المعلقين ونشوفها على طول.
The final matchup here for Group A, that's right, it's going to be Otani versus Latif. It's going to be vicious, back at it again with Ringe. You already know what's good and what to expect. But first and foremost, with the utmost sincerity, seeing one of the former players of Shinobiism Gaming, I do want to give a big shout out to those involved with Street Fighter League, and also a moment of silence for our young commentator, Nanai, who passed recently. Just wanted to show some love to everybody that is a part of his fan base, everybody from his family to his friends as well. A very sudden, unexpected occurrence that had happened, but just know that his whole lineage thus far, his career has been nothing but legendary as well. He's been highlighted, he's also been goated. I think overall, he was one of the greats to really lead the way for some of the new commentators in Street Fighter League. With that in mind, we also have a legend in Latif going right into it. Now, I did talk to him as well. It makes sense that he would be somewhat prepared to a degree in this matchup because Otani, he's going to be bringing out the Luke.
Yes.
Latif had to prepare for that matchup anyway, just in case, because he had to face off against Mena RD in round 1, right?
Precisely, yeah. And we saw, I believe, at the airport, you know, a lot of these players came straight from EVO. I believe Mena RD and Latif were on a similar flight. We saw them practicing in the airport. So Latif should have some matchup knowledge up against the Luke. We'll see how he does against the Cammy, of course. But Cammy is such a mauling opponent, so quick to kind of get in that face of Luke. But one of the great things about Luke in this game, and I mean the last game too, is that he has a pretty good walk speed, but his normals take him so far forward, bro. So a lot of this game, right, you like catching people with that crouch medium kick. Cammy has a great crouch medium kick, great range on it, but Luga walking back, he can easily get a whiff punish with that stand fierce, because it just brings him back into range of the opponent. So be on the lookout for that, for sure.
I'm looking forward to seeing what this matchup is going to be like to this degree right now. Latif, you know, obviously the hometown hero, he does have the champion's caliber in regards to the gameplay and what needs to be done in terms of adaptation, but it's Otani, man. Like,
yeah.
He's been grinding it out with the like over in the land of Japan. I think overall, this is going to be a very sturdy match, at least for Luke. I think he's got more than enough in the tank to stop whatever approach Cammy needs to be doing. And also, that whoa, what was that? The fireball, the fireball game can be a little bit tough to manage. Even if you have something like a spin knuckle, he still has one of the best fireballs in the game. So let's see how it comes to fruition. Game number 1 between Otani and Latif. Drive rushing forward already, Latif. Ready for it with the jump back. He's trying to be a little bit cautious about the approach. Back throw, Otani. Catching Latif, trying to walk backwards.
Indeed, you can see Otani immediately trying to go in again, but then charge him with a flash knuckle. That was a little reckless. Latif gonna make him pay for a little bit, but he's testing Latif's anti-airs and a quick even flow DDT Raven style.
Right into the bridge. I feel like if you do that enough, the bridge gotta collapse, right?
Right into the sea with the monsters, bro.
Oh. Blanca Jen's not gonna help you out with that.
No, neither will his snake in the back.
It's true. Man, that thing is a monster.
Okay, again, testing Latif's anti-airs, right? You see the back-to-back jumps from Otani now. Really wants to see if Latif's gonna be able to do it. Look at this, like forward jumps, neutral jumps. He did it from pretty far away the first time, but still.
Sturdy. Damn, the force knockdown off the crouching jab anti-air. Against the dive kick, you love to see it. But that's the problem too, right? If you kind of commit to some of these lights and pestering against the dive kick, if you get punish countered, you're in for a full-on combo. But more so, I think the corner carry and like the presence after a spiral arrow is great. But yeah, perfect. Let's seal it out. Level 1 to secure the deal just in case. But I gotta say, man, Otani had plenty left in the tank, right? Yeah. He could have gone for like, you know, an entire perfect flash knuckle sequence, drive rush forward. Man, he is gunning for it.
Oh, another.
You can hear the
DT.
snap.
And I love him, using that OD extension right there, just because of the optimal Oki he gets. So I'm liking this from Otani a lot. And you gotta watch it for these Japanese players, when they're looking to close out a round and have 4 bars, they love doing the raw drive rush into a low into the drive cancel. That is like a staple of their play. Right now, Latif trying to get his bearings back here. He's got 3 bars on deck. Otani gonna cancel into the fireball. That block string can be exposed if you're looking for it.
Right. Well, that's a tough thing to look for sometimes.
And yeah, and then if he just doesn't do it, then you overcommit. But Latif committing to that level 3 right now. He was pretty broke in terms of the drive gauge, so wants to take this life lead, wants to give himself some options here.
That's right. Just about equal exchange, not equal exchange necessarily, but yeah, that roundhouse being within it.
Exactly.
And I love the check against the drive rush. Forward throw is enough to put him into the, at least the river perhaps. Round 1, sorry, 2. 2 on the board for each, right? So we got 1 round apiece. Man, English is hard, I gotta say, man. I don't even know how a T can speak another language, because I'll tell you what, man, English already is tough.
My man Rob always pops when Latif speaks both. I love it. My man Latif, though, I love seeing, you saw the sigh of relief he had when that first round was on the board. It was like a basketball player. He needs to see the first shot go in to get that rhythm. And look at the check on the drive rush. He's starting to cross up, spin.
Did you block that? I didn't block that.
Nah.
Chad didn't block it either.
My man is feeling himself now, and then back-to-back driving back to the corner. You want to test my reactions? Let's see yours, fam. Wake up with the crouch medium kick, though, Otani. Let's get that level 3. I need to waste this burnout meter.
It's not going to put Latif into burnout, but I feel like 1 block would. So we're going to see what the approach is.
Do?
Yeah, there it is.
Just
Now it's a burnout. Oh, no! That could have been a little bit more dangerous. Otani just not really comfortable with that range to get a full conversion of anything. Again, he's dried out now. He has the bar to mess with. Latif, if he gets hit once, he's dead. But Latif, possibly death by 1,000. Cut the neutral jump bait against the throw. It's Latif getting the first game against Otani.
Beautiful stuff from Latif at the end right there. I love how much he was walking back. We talked about it, right? Those round-ending scenarios. Otani loves to get that raw drive rush into the drive cancel. Latif was just way out of range of any raw drive rush buttons.
Is it weird that I'm still not used to how fast we get to rematches?
Bro, yeah, like I keep thinking the replays like instead of the actual rematch.
The same exact thing. I'm like, is this a replay? But it's not.
I love it. Street Fighter 6, let us tap the vein, baby.
We need more. Sandblast to check as well, Latif. He's taking a lot of liberties with some of these dash forwards against Otani, but it's at further ranges out. Man, the jump in paying off dividends. Snap the neck, cash the check. We'll see what happens. The throw bait. You can spend a little bit more. Otani not comfortable with it yet.
Man was not looking to teach Latif the whole lesson right there, but catches the crouch medium kick. Latif not looking for it. That is a cancelable button, but again, just catching him off guard.
A little frustration, I think, coming from the side of Otani, not getting the full conversions that he's looking for.
Yeah, he definitely, especially after dropping the first game, that can start to compile, really wear on your mental game. He's got to relax, got to compose himself. That could have been a big whip punish for Latif, but he was already committed to the drive rush.
Oh, they were scrapping for it too. And it was kind of close to call too with the angle. Man, what was that? A little bit close to call with the dive kick approach from Cammy, which even allowed that scrap. I thought she was going to be plus enough to continue.
Me too. You see Otani, he was just harassing with that crouch medium kick right there because he didn't have the meter to cancel without burning himself out. So he's trying to get some of that meter back, but Latif now putting on the pressure, very smart. Didn't confirm the hit he got, didn't believe Otani would get clocked. All believes in that one though. He's got the level 3 on deck and he's going to spend it. Might as well, man. I know he's not going to have this meter going into the next round, but nonetheless, getting the W is the utmost important thing.
I know Sajam and Yipes had highlighted this over at EVA, but the amount, like, you know, when it comes to like the economy of meter, I feel like you get it back so easily, right? You get at least like 1 or 2 bars every single time. And I gotta say, Cammy is quite that battery. She's been very consistent in building it all back up. And now Otani, he's spending the cash early, so he can ensure at least some sort of intimidation factor, right? Having this life lead, it does push people over the edge a little bit. But now Latif, he wakes up with the OD uppercut.
So this is the thing, though. Latif waking up with that, right? He relieves some of the pressure, but now the drive meter is so in Otani's favor right now. But Latif, he's doing such a good job pressuring that he's actually gotten it back. Just as I say that, Otani spins that last bit for the crouch medium kick drive cancel. Oh,
that's
jump again, bro. Latif, the anti-airs just have not been there this set so far, and Otani ties it up.
I believe this is the first time we've had a real set, right? It's gone down 1-1 now. I think they're going right back into the replay. Let's take a look. Dang, okay, I see you, production. Let's go.
And we caught the Otani perfect parry start on the drive rush. Oh, he reacted in time. Last frame for the drive impact response from Latif. Oh, the reset? It's like that?
You dirty dog. Oh, shades the cap, doesn't fall for it. Otani snapping the neck again. And I love the wake-up jab option from Latif, but it's still Otani. He spells blood. Is he going to spend even more damage? Yes, sir. Close to burnout. Are you going to drive rush forward? No, he's waiting. He's waiting for Latif.
He might be waiting for those forward bars. We talked about it before. That drive rush into the drive cancel could be looming. Right now, though, he's gotten close enough to where he can just pressure normally. Oh, off the whiff. He tried the buffer, right? But since the change, it just came out anyway. Oh, tried the drive rush, but he had so little drive meter that he ends up burning himself out, and the flash knuckle just taking down Latif.
Yeah, there's a way to alleviate that now, right? You can do the standing light kick canceled into the drive rush. Even if you have less than a bar, you still manage to get yourself that drive rush, but it is a little bit more telegraphed, right?
Yeah, that's true, but I love the fact that you brought up that point. That is a way to still get the drive rush out, even when you have a pixel of drive meter. Oh,
damn, that was meaty. Oh, but no cheese on it. Come on, man.
Fortunately for Latif right there, you see some things getting away from him. You can see even the shake of the head on the frustration after getting thrown. He knows he left a lot of damage on the table.
Just about dead even in life, if I'm not mistaken, but Latif does have the resources available to him. Otani building that same resource up. Latif trying to open it up with the drive rush cancel forward, even off of the block. He's trying to apply that pressure, looking for the big mistake from Otani. No whiff punish there. Back throw now.
Oh yeah, Otani taking the screen advantage here, keeping Latif locked down in the corner. No confirm off that though. Very surprising, and this is gonna give Latif a big opportunity. Spin that level 3, get yourself back into the game, and get that big drive meter advantage. Man, that's gonna put Otani broke as a joke for the drive meter.
Ah, but he's gotta watch out. He's got 3 bars. Otani, now he's stuck in burnout. The flash knuckle out of desperation. Latif just had to sit there and block it. But if anything, Otani might be the one in danger. Latif, he has to calculate the strategy carefully. He's tempting him. You thought you could walk back on a low forward range? Watch out for this throw, amigo. Yeah! Oh. He thought the same exact thing. The neutral jump throw bait yet again. Final game, final round between Otani and Latif.
Otani was holding the parry right there, trying to catch Latif getting over aggressive, but we're big chilling. I love this from Latif, the patience, and then the drive rush. As soon as he sees the jump, right, he's just gonna get out of there. Oh no, anti-air again! This is so tough for Latif right now. Otani's getting so much mileage off these jumps.
Yeah, she does have a couple of tools to contest it, right? If it's not going to be an uppercut, she can utilize that back medium punch, or even like, oh!
Love that bait right there. That's why he immediately went to the throw. He wanted Otani to DP.
That's exactly it. Latif, he's backing away. He senses danger. Trying to bring it back to mid-screen.
Oh!
That's Otani right there, just walking forward, looking for the buffer. Latif erroneously committing to said buffer. Otani taking her to Memphis.
Oh man, half a bar drive meter left for Latif. This is looking tough. And he just takes it to the face. That's not good, brother. And the drive impact, no reaction will seal it. And he couldn't drive impact back at that point, right? Because he had no life to survive the absorbing blow. So he needed to parry, he needed to super, and it was just an overwhelming moment of mental stack. So great stuff from Otani, bringing it back from a first game of deficit.
I think we could officially say Otani is of the American crowd, considering how many times he's brought Latif over to Memphis. You know, he's already welcome. But Otani, again, man, very, very impressive stuff to kind of highlight some of the weaknesses or the things that Latif wasn't ready for. Now, I can't necessarily say that they're weaknesses, but we'll take a look at that here with our desk analysis.
Man, we've had some crazy matches, guys, and it's only going to continue. First 4 down for the day. Latif extremely close there against Otani. Went 1 up, looking like he was going to take it, but that jump game was just a bit too abusive from Otani. Needs to work on that, Latif, if he's going to stand a chance of making the adjustment and coming back in the latter stages.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. When he was going up against Mena earlier, he was kind of struggling with the anti. Oh, actually, no, his anti game was exceptionally good. And then it kind of just went downhill from there. And we kind of see the remnants of that against Otani. He was picking it up. I love the fact that he was able to match Otani's pace and then take advantage of the maximum damage output Cammy can offer and then really go from there. But then again, Tyrant, the anti game was just too crucial for him.
I mean, yeah, you can see it as well. Latif a bit more comfortable in more traditional-based matchups, you know, as opposed to the Mena Blanca pick, which was a bit more, you know, chaotic. Played a lot more solid against Luke. You know, as a character that, you know, allows Cammy to get started a bit easier. But in the end, it wasn't enough, man. A couple of mistakes from Latif as well. The low forward into the drill was a bit, you know, misplaced, and that essentially cost him the match. But
see, and this is what I brought up at the start of the hour as well. I said if you pick a fundamental character against Latif, he'll be able to go toe to toe with you. We actually saw that like in full effect here against Otani, but he again managed to clutch it out there in a nail-biting set.
Luke jump heavy punch, man. That downwards hitbox is no joke.
But if you've got an invincible DP, you don't have to worry about it too much. But unfortunately, Latif wasn't able to utilize it. I've got to say, Otani himself, despite clutching it out, well done to him. Definitely got to remember this kid's age, man. He's a young, very talented player.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely looked a bit nervous at times as well. A few drops, missed his drive rush a few times, missed a couple combos as well in conversions. Manages to get the result, but he also needs to step up, I feel, because this is one hell of a tough group if he wants to make sure he qualifies in top 2 into that, of course, oh so important top 16 for Sunday. So he takes it this time around, but some areas for improvement for both players.
Yeah, and we were debating, or me and you were debating about Otani's combo routes. Like he was going into flash knuckle into the DDT follow, which you do get a decent knockdown situation, but obviously Eford, you were debating, it's like, okay, maybe you should just drive rush cancel, send to the corner with a heavy flash knuckle, and then limit Latif's options from there. But I guess there's something he's been either working on or he knows that we don't. It might not be specific to Cammy, it might be universal, but I do like the flexibility of how you can spend your drive gauge, and Otani showcased that there really well.
I think, yeah, let's talk about that when we get to it, because we really want to talk about everything that's happened, guys. Once again, this is the STC roundup of the matches that we've seen. Shout out those guys and other sponsors for this amazing week of Street Fighter action. This is match 1. It was the one we were all looking out for. It was the hometown boy, Latif, who we just saw a second ago. This time against Mena RD, it was the Blanca we expected, and that was such a clever wake-up super, right? Because he finally got some momentum. I know you're going to press. I know you're going to try and apply pressure. I'm going to bet it all. Just because I'm in burnout doesn't mean I'm completely vulnerable. And he was able to close that one out against him too. Some good moments for Latif, though, in this set, despite being convincingly beaten. Some good moments.
Definitely a couple flashes of brilliance. But, you know, it's like we come down to, you mentioned earlier, you know, this matchup is obviously one that Mena has prepared for. You know, we saw it at EVO, we saw it at CEO. Like, he's just too informed on the Cammy matchup right now. You know, he understands Blanca is his pick for that, and you can see right there, Mena sitting top of the table. 2 wins to 0, man, looking solid.
And Finn on there, 1-1. Those matches, if you didn't see, guys, those matches were available on Gamers8 GG_B on the B stream. Shout out to the guys commentating and covering those games. We're going through with A as well. And this is how the group standings is, as you said, Tyrant. Finn on 1-1, Mena RD running away with it. Then the next match we saw, I actually said before this one started, despite the extremely wobbly walkout from Nephew, I actually thought he was going to win this. I thought, you know, I'm a big fan of Shen, but Nephew's in such good form. Well, wasn't to be the case.
Here's the thing for me and Jan's DJ, just real quick. He has been abusing drive impact like no other player in the scene currently. And when you spend drive gauge to deal with him defensively, he snipes in on your drive gauge and knows how to deplete it even further. And it looked like Nephew didn't know how to play the game. And that's disrespectful for me to say, because he's one of the best in the US. Like, Jan made him look like light work.
Yeah, bro. One other point I'd like to highlight as well is that Cien lost to Jury at EVO. He lost to Kills You.
Oh, good point.
And he was actually really nervous going into this because he's got 2 juries in his bracket.
Good point.
He's got Wes and Nephew, of course. So, you know, he was telling me beforehand about the jury matchup. He's not that comfortable, but bro, it looks like he did his homework perfectly because that looked solid to me. Nephew unable to get going.
Offense often the best form of defense. It doesn't matter how the matchup
DJ.
is. Yeah, exactly. if your opponent's constantly in block stun and having to deal with drive impacts in the corner, it's going to work in your favor, and that's what happened. Nephew just not quite up to his usual form, not given a chance to get warm, and this is how this group stands right now. You have Shen, of course, with his victory. Mr. Crimson got his win as well over Wes, and then there's another match here we had on stream A into the next group here.
My goodness,
Punk versus Shen, and that input error, man, Street Fighter 6, please get that sorted. That happens to me too.
I will
Very
tell you
frustrating.
what, though, sorry to cut you off. To be fair, you can use level 1 as an anti-air. You can use it at level 1.
That's not what he was trying to do.
No, in that regard, yes.
Definitely
but I'm saying in certain
right?
situations you can use it there. But again, that is right. That was an execution error. But this was an absolute steamroll. Believe
Honestly,
it or not, right?
Zen switched characters, spoke very humbly about where he feels he is at the game recently. I was expecting Punk to be the one leading the dance in this one, but it wasn't to be, man, bro.
See, now here's the interesting thing, right? I spoke to Punk yesterday on Tuesday, and he said, I said, any last words before we close out this interview? He said, please don't drive rush me because I will check it. You picked the wrong character to say that again. Because again, it's DJ, man. Fastest drive rush. It was very hard to deal with that just overall.
Yeah, man. And it seems like a lot of former M Bison players are switching to DJ.
Yeah.
Like you see that, you know, Zen, Mono, you know, from Street Fighter 4. There's a lot of people, Hot Dog as well. Like the character's becoming very popular.
Well, why are you not playing him, Tyrant? You're a former Bison player.
I mean, I've got my charge character in this game, all right, and it's you know, it's definitely not DJ. Man, like Edmund. we got Honda. We got Honda.
You don't want to think too much, right?
Yeah.
DJ, as broken as he is, does require some intellect, right? Unlike Honda, you know, just pick up the stick.
I can't even argue, bro. Like, but yeah,
I get it, bro.
But you see that, you know, they're getting their charge fixed there with DJ. Yeah, he's a super strong character here, so I get it.
Guys, it's been an amazing first segment, 4 incredible matches, some surprise results already, drama already here at Gamers8 Street Fighter 6 2023. We must take a short break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to look at the matches to come, and believe me, they are as juicy as ever.